Hi everybody, this is Julie with Stitches of Love Quilting. I just wanted to show you today how you can sew a button on with your sewing machine. Most of our sewing machines now come with a special button sewing foot, which in all of my machines that have this, it's a foot that has a little blue like rubber cap kind of on the end of it, and as you can tell it's very open in the middle. The first thing you want to do is drop your feed dogs. Usually there's a button somewhere on your machine where you can lower your feed dogs because you don't want your machine moving your button around. You want to place your button in the position about where you want it. Well, not about, but let's put it right where we do want it. Just gently slide it up underneath and then poke. Use your hand crank and turn your needle so it's down into your piece, and then lower your presser foot down. It's now in position. You want to make sure that it's going to clear the holes. Now see, I set this to 3. It's a little bit too narrow, so I'm going to go to 4, and it's going to jump right in. I'm using black thread just so you can see it today a little bit better. Normally I would match my thread color and then just go, and then use your single needle, put it back here, use your locking stitch, needle up, pull it out, and then snip your thread. And I like to take a needle and thread these two and pull them to the back and tie it in a knot. So I keep a large eye needle here at my machine. Not coordinated. Sometimes you need 3 hands, don't you think? Let's see if I can do this without doing the old lick and spit. You know, they say you really shouldn't do that. Don't lick your thread, but sometimes old habits die really hard. But if you have a needle this big of an eye, you should be able to get it through. I don't even know what size needle this is, but boy is it big. And then just poke it down through there. Pull it to the back. And then you can take your other 2 ends, your bobbin ends, and just tie it. Give it 2 little ties. Or I should say 2 little knots. Snip your threads. And there you have it, your nice little button sewed on. This will quickly allow you to get your buttons on much quicker than if you were doing it by hand. Now, this is a mug rug that we've been making, and I like to sew my buttons on before I move on to the next step. So, which is putting the backing on. So what I would do is I would position all these in the proper place, my little Christmas light buttons, and put these on, and I would sew them all on. Then, let me just shove these aside because we're going to assume that they're on. Now you can see that I've stitched through, done my stitching through my batting. My next step is to take my backing piece, which has, I've fused Heat and Bond Light to it, and I'm going to peel that off and I'm going to gently press it on so that it adheres to the back. Assuming all my buttons were sewed on, it gives me a nice finished back. You'll see that in a few minutes when the magic happens and the buttons are on and I iron that on. So stick with me. I'll be back in a flash.